Hi, everyone. Welcome to our sustainability chat today. My name is Casey Meehan. I am the Director of, Sustainability and Resilience at Western Technical College, and I also help run the Sustainability Institute. Now, before we get started with the program, there's two orders of business to take care of. First, just a couple of announcements. You'll notice that all of your microphones are muted and your cameras are off. We do this just to preserve stream quality, so please keep them that way. Any questions that you have for the presenter can be sent through the chat link. So we'll collect those questions, and at the end, we'll have a chance to ask some of those questions of our guests today. The tour, just so everybody is aware, the tour and the question and answer session will be recorded and will be available on our website at the Sustainability Institute the day after the live event. Secondly, you'll see an anonymous poll on your screen momentarily. So that poll is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you just a few questions about today's program featuring Seven Rivers Recycling. So what we're trying to do here is gauge your areas of interest and your understanding already of Seven Rivers Recycling, and your responses are going to help our presenters today tailor their presentation to your interests. So take maybe another 20 seconds or so to answer those questions. Give you another 10 seconds. All right, great. So you can see the results here. Which areas are you most excited to learn about today? Partnerships with the City of La Crosse seems to be the biggest thing. And then partnerships with other recycling companies. And are you aware of mattress recycling that is available in our area? And most people are not. So never fear, you're going to learn a lot about that today. All right, so thank you so much for taking that poll. A little bit about the Sustainability Institute. We are a not-for-profit organization in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and our mission is to celebrate and advance sustainability efforts within the Driftless region. If you feel like our work at all benefits the region or benefits you, please do consider becoming a member. We really rely on the support of participants like you in order to develop and produce the programs and events that we do. Becoming a member is super easy. Just go to sustaininstitute.com and click on Become a Member. You'll see that link pretty prominently on the page. And there you're going to find a number of membership levels to choose from. Thank you for considering becoming a member. And we'd like to especially thank our champion and advocate members today, Raj Nick and Lee Rosh. At the Sustainability Institute, we frame a lot of our work using the UN goals, UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is an ambitious set of 17 goals rolled out by the UN in 2015. And they're meant to help the world address some of the world's most pressing challenges by the year 2030. Now, these goals frame sustainability as a holistic project, and the goals are also meant to be integrated such that progress on one goal can help advance progress in other goals as well. Today's tour and chat really highlights goal number 12, responsible production and consumption. So usually when a product we use reaches the end of its useful life, we say we're throwing it away. Now, I think that there's a problem with that statement on a couple of accounts, on two counts really. First, it generalizes the term away, and therefore we don't tend to think about where away is. But away, it turns out, is somebody else's community. In other words, we export the problem of our junk, our extra stuff, onto somebody else. And typically, we're exporting that problem into the communities that are sometimes the most marginalized. The second problem with this idea of throwing something away is that throwing away implies a really problematic tendency to think linearly. So we extract resources, we produce something out of those resources, we get it to the consumer, we use it, and then we discard it. And in effect, we're also, discarding all the resources that were used to make that product as well. So instead of this linear approach, we should really be thinking more in circles. So we need to think about products at the end of their useful life as metaphorically nutritious, right? They're a nutritious ingredient for another product to yet be manufactured. So how can the components, for example, of old mattresses be used in new ways that are good for the environment, good for people, and good for business? And that's the story that we'll be hearing about today. So I would like to introduce Brian Tippett and Brandon Knutson. Brian is the business manager for Hilltopper Refuse and Recycling Services in Onalaska, and he's also part owner of Seven Rivers Recycling, which is a triple bottom line mattress recycling company. Brian's worked in the solid waste and recycling profession for over 3 decades on a variety of projects in both scope and scale. He's served as the international president of the 10,000 member Professional Society of the Solid Waste Association of North America. He's written on solid waste and recycling, and he has traveled the world extensively, speaking to groups in Mexico and Brazil, Austria, Indonesia, Egypt, Russia, all about recycling and solid waste disposal. Brian feels his greatest professional accomplishment, given all that, his greatest professional accomplishment is actually inspiring young professionals in the field. And then we're also going to be hearing from Brandon Knutson. So Brandon, for the past 3 years, has held the role of refuse and recycling manager for Hilltopper Refuse and Recycling. And then he also works with Seven Rivers Recycling. Brandon's a fairly recent UW La Crosse graduate. And to date, Brandon has taken the lead at Hilltopper to build and implement some really progressive programs. So first of all, he's led a large-scale recycling program for special events like Oktoberfest. And he's also been key in implementing the area's first commercial organics collection program. So Brian and Brandon, thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to turn it over to you. So take it away.
Yep. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was really nice. Seven Rivers Recycling is Wisconsin's only mattress recycler. I'm one of the owners, Brian Tippett, and thank you so much for being here. Now, giving some history, in 2011, Seven Rivers Recycling started off as a company called Recycall. And Seven Rivers Recycling at that time was doing e-waste, light bulbs, and some specialty plastics. And then in about 2013, La Crosse County decided they wanted to do mattress recycling. So they did some research and they actually visited 2 mattress recycling facilities in Wisconsin, one in Eau Claire and one in Watertown. They researched that and decided this is something they wanted to do, and they went to pull the trigger. Both had gone out of business after about a year's worth of being in the business. So the La Crosse County then reached out to some other parties in the area and saw if anyone would like to create mattress recycling. So our company did. And we started doing that in 2014, and we've been doing it ever since. It's been a very successful program. We're going to show you some really interesting things today. Now, my office is in Alaska, but our operation is actually in La Crosse, and we're in the Paycall building on Carr Street. And I'd be remiss by not giving you a little bit of history. This building was built in 1865. That's the year that our President Lincoln was shot. And what's also interesting, the timbers in this building came from a repurposed railroad bridge. An entrepreneur in the La Crosse area built a railroad bridge thinking the railroad would buy it from him. The railroad never did. So they had this bridge that didn't connect anything. So the owners of this building were looking to build a building. They reached out to the owner of that abandoned bridge and brought the timbers in here. And if Brandon, if you'd show this timber, this is a timber from a railroad bridge that never got used. Now, one of the things I'd like to say about Seven Rivers Recycling is that we are business to business type operation. What does that mean? Most businesses that we encounter are business to consumer. That means they work retail or they work directly with the people buying the service. But in our situation, we work with other businesses. Who are those other businesses? La Crosse County, Houston County, PM Sleep Center, Carl's, Wesco and Sparta. We don't deal with the general public. So that's where the mattresses come from. We'll talk later about how you can get a mattress recycled if we don't take it from you. Right here is a mattress that we have partially flayed. So you can see what's in a mattress to see what can be recycled. Here are the steel springs. We take those out and those end up being baled. Here's a material we call mattress felt. It's used to separate the springs from the foam and other materials in the mattress. Then here's a polyester material. It's commonly called Dacron. It can be used in packaging as well. Here is the polyurethane foam, and that ends up being used in carpet backing. And then this top is the ticking or cover, and it's attached to foam, and that's also recycled with the foam. The pile of the polyurethane foam that's been pulled out of some mattresses. This foam will be baled in this vertical baler. These bales will end up going to a broker where they end up getting shipped to carpet manufacturers where it gets ground up and used in carpet backing. Here are some springs that have been taken out of a mattress. Those will go in this horizontal baler. They'll be made into big bales that weigh about 1,600 pounds. 2,000 pounds is the ton. So that those bales may weigh as much as a small car. And those will end up going to a foundry where other steel products will be made, such as the outside of your appliances. This is the wood, and there's still some springs on it. And this wood ends up being used locally as mulch or biofuel at the waste energy plant. Most of it ends up as mulch. And that's used for that. And also you can make furniture from it. I've had a bunch of picture frames made from this wood as well. This is very difficult to get the springs off the wood. And this machine here is a shear table. The springs get laid on here. This blade pops up and then shears off the springs to separate the wood from the springs. Carrie, would you go to the slide that has the carbon footprint? Is that there?
Yep.
Okay. One of the things we talk about why we recycle and what does that really mean? Well, one of the big things is what is the carbon footprint of recycling mattresses? There's a study done. There's a study done by the state of California where they looked at what is the greenhouse gas benefit of recycling a set of a mattress and a box spring. It's equivalent to about 7 gallons of gasoline. And that's compared to landfilling it. And that number includes a transportation of 100 miles. It includes all the other offsetting aspects of getting this recycled. So there's a net benefit of 7 gallons of gasoline saved for every mattress box spring set recycled, which is actually pretty significant. Thank you. You can take away the slide now. The next slide I'd like to go to is the mattress math for landfills. If you could pop up that slide. Good. And one of the reasons for this slide is actually the link on the bottom, because there's actually this math that can be gone through to see what is the real cost to landfill a mattress. If you think about it, landfills, the expense is by volume. Their license only let them go so high and fill up so many acres. So their expense is volume, but they charge by weight across the scale. If you think about it, mattresses are relatively light compared to the big space they have. In a landfill by weight, it may only cost for most landfills about $2 to landfill them. But when you look at the other costs of a landfill, and that's what this mattress math for landfills is about, it may be $20, but they're only charging $2, so they're losing all this money. One of the reasons to recycle mattresses is to save the money, save the space at landfills, and to capture the loss of greenhouse gases. Now, there's other problems with landfill besides space. At a landfill, mattresses wrap around the heavy equipment. They have to be cut loose. It damages the equipment. It hurts the effectiveness of the equipment. And to get it loose, one employee has to stretch out the spring while another employee takes a bolt cutter to cut it. And when that spring is stretched, it pops back and it potentially could puncture one of the employees. That's one of the dangers. Another danger with mattresses is they hold air and space in the landfill, and they're fuel for fires. If you talk to landfill operators, there's a disproportional number of fires that seem to be near a mattress in a landfill. Another problem with a mattress is at the end of the day, law requires landfills to be covered with 6 inches of soil. If you put a mattress at the end of the day in part of the landfill working area, it's always at a slope, it's not flat. And so when the earth piles up on the mattress, it rolls to the bottom of the mattress, and you may get 2 foot of earth at the bottom of the mattress, but to get the 6 inches of earth at the top of the mattress, you waste all this extra earth. So it wastes more landfill space and more time to do that. Another problem with mattresses is when they're buried on an outside side slope, they act like a conduit for the leachate that percolates through the landfill. The water goes through the landfill, it hits that mattress and it seeps out the side. Then the leachate goes down the side of the landfill. Landfills can't have that, so they have to dig up the mattress and bring it to the interior of the landfill and rebury it. All those things end up costing a lot of money. For more detail, there's a link here at the bottom of this slide that you can look at. Thank you. Next slide.
Which one do you want?
I want the slide that's the graph. It's a really busy slide. Yeah, this slide's really busy, but it creates a point. At the bottom of the graph are months, and each vertical line is a year. And then the purple line that goes across the top is an average of years. And what you see is there's seasonality to the mattresses. In May, we get a lot of mattresses. January, February, not so many. So you see this seasonality. But each vertical line as it goes on is a new year. So one of the things that's interesting, we'll see the numbers are slowly decreasing. One of the other things we want to see, I wonder if we should move. No, it's going to get a little more quiet in a moment. Is that La Crosse County did a survey in the landfill for 30 days. They multiplied that 1 month times a year, and they found they were burying about 7,500 mattresses a year. They took another month, did the same type survey for a month, multiplied it for the full year, and they found 9,000. So you average those two, about 8,000 a year. And this graph was done after the county started recycle mattresses. So you can see when they started to do it, they cut the number in about half. 2 things I really want to highlight on this graph, and there where the lines are. This year, in about April, Houston County, because of COVID, discontinued their drop-off sites for mattresses for a while. And when that happened, you'll see this bright yellow line bumped up above the horizontal line, which shows the impact of stopping that mattress recycling for a while, and so it increased. Next, it's interesting, you'll see another in June. There's a big increase there. And what happened is the city of La Crosse, for the last many years, has had a 4-week large item pickup project going for the residents. This year, they cut it to 2 weeks, and they cut out June. Before, it was the last 2 weeks of May, first 2 weeks of June. So when they cut this out, those mattresses, instead of being recycled, end up increasing. And I'm not saying the city should or shouldn't cut out the mattress recycling. They've got budgets, they've got their own reasons, but when they do it, you can see their action results in that change. You can take that slide away now. One of the things that's real important about mattress recycling has to do about how we actually get it done. And there's a lot of places that don't recycle mattresses. There's those places that do recycle mattresses. At La Crosse County, as an example, if a homeowner takes a mattress out there and they want to recycle it, the county charges $13.50. If you want to landfill it, it's $18 plus the weight. So it ends up being about $20. A number of the mattress stores may say they recycle a mattress, but you need to ask, how's that happen? Because a lot of people recycle it just means it's hauled away. It's the same as disposing it or landfilling it. And so you need to ask those questions. Not every mattress store in our market area recycles their mattress. In Houston County, what they do is really nice. For all the residents, it's free. The county pays for it. They have 5 drop-off sites in their county, and it's free for those residents to do that. Let me mention, can I have the last slide? How to kill the circular economy. One of the things that's happened with mattress recycling is we try to expand this. Others will say, well, are we sure you're going to stay in business? We don't want to start a program and then it'll collapse, because that's happened in parts of Wisconsin. And so by not using the circular economy, you kill the circular economy. The other thing is when you, for instance, mattresses or other material, you just accept somebody's word that they're doing the recycling, when in fact, they might not be. So ask some detailed questions. Who is doing the recycling? There's a national company that advertises for mattress recycling. I called them up and asked if they'd recycle my mattress. They said yes. And I said, well, where do you get this done? And they didn't really know. And they asked where I was from, and ended up getting them to admit is they can recycle it if they find someplace that's convenient and less expensive than other options, which to me means they probably don't recycle it. So those are some key things. So locally, where can we go to get our mattresses recycled? You can go to Hilltopper Refuse and Recycling, their center, they'll recycle the mattress. La Crosse County Citizens Drop-Off, PM Sleep Center. You can go to Houston County, their landfill, the Vernon County landfill, Juneau County, drop-off sites, Carl's in Sparta, Carl's in La Crosse, Wesco, and there's some others as well. You may see some names that I didn't mention. And in those cases, I would ask some hard questions to see whether or not they recycle. How am I doing on time?
You're doing good, Brian. You have about another 5 to 10 minutes if you'd like.
Okay. Let me show you the mattress again and show some really creative upcycling ideas and discuss that. This is mattress felt. This has a lot of interesting uses. In the industry, most places are landfilling that, and we don't have a full market for this. We've got many bundles ready for use. Some of the uses are landscaping fabric. Cooley Region Ecoscapes has done that. They did that at the YMCA Food Forest. I've used it at my house in my window wells, and then I put rock on top of that. This also can be used in the metal flower baskets instead of the coconut. It can be used in that way. It can be used as a contractor's tarp. For instance, if you're painting and you use that on the floor, it can be used as a mover's blanket. There's just a whole array of things that can be done with that. and it'd be a really good thing to repurpose. Now, this is polyurethane foam. Some mattresses have a memory foam. There's not really a market for memory foam. Not many mattresses are made out of memory foam. But one of the uses that's being used in Austin, Texas, is they're making dog beds out of the memory foam. And so I just talked to Pat McKnight, who writes for the La Crosse Tribune, and gave her that idea. She's got some interest. I don't know where it's going to go. This polyester, we had a woman that we used to come by and get all of ours, and she would wrap products that she would sell on Amazon with this polyester. One of the really neat products with mattress felt is an archery target backstop. You can layer this and then wrap it with a band and use it for a backstop of your targets. And it does a really good job with the arrows in that you can pull the arrows out easily versus tugging with the commercial backstops. Ray Howell, who is a nationally recognized archer in Kicking Bear Ministries, says this material is excellent to work with, and the bullseye doesn't deteriorate any more than the commercial ones. So that's a really neat project. There is someone locally who is looking for some patents to make that work as well. One of the things in trying to get people interested in mattress recycling is we try to promote it and make it interesting to various people. And in that regard, we've got a mascot. Hey, Mattress Man. Oh, we lost him. Anyway, I don't know what happened to Mattress Man. He was going to come out here, but he's gone. This ticking and quilting is a very, very strong material. And I would think someone would come up with another way to recycle this, maybe in, if it's not, in bad shape, but needs to be recycled. It could be used in covering furniture and things like that. Here's Mattress Man. Hey, Mattress Man, here's our mascot. He kind of helps promote this. How you doing today, Mattress Man? Yeah, Mattress Man doesn't talk. When we have Earth Fair, he hangs out at Earth Fair and some other events. But thanks for showing up, Mattress Man. We appreciate it. Those are some of the main things I got to cover. I could go on a little further if you'd like.
Brian, we actually have a couple of questions. So are you cool with answering a couple of questions from the audience?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So one question that came in is in regard to the carbon footprint that you were talking about.
Yes.
How much has Seven Rivers Recycling done to improve their carbon footprint with this form of recycling since 2014? Do you have any numbers on that?
No, we have numbers for the tons of foam, the tons of metal, the tons of wood. We've not actually gone in to make that on the carbon footprint. I take that back. We got a grant from Force for Positive Change out of the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, but I don't have that number at hand. It's a number that was so big, it seems incredible. And but I don't have that number available. We have crunched it and I used it in a grant application.
We can make sure to get that from you, Brian, and we'll include it in the post blog recap with the video payback as well. So we'll have that information in our blog after the event.
Brian, another question that came up is, does any part of the mattress, does it all get recycled or does any of it go to waste?
Thank you. Some mattresses, not most, on the ticking or the cover is not attached to foam. That goes to waste. And for instance, the mattress felt, most of that today is going to waste because we have more of it than we have a market. That is something that is not recycled, but is upcycled. And so we're the only one. There's an organization called Mattress Recycling Council. They hired researchers to find out what to do with it. And they told us we're the only one using it. So that is something that right now, more of it's getting landfilled than is actually being recycled. Another material is the memory foam. I think I'm making a number, 1 to 5% of mattresses have a memory foam. And when it has that, we're able to move it for no price. but we are so crunched on space right now. We don't have a place to store it to get a truckload. And so if we had more space that didn't cost money, we could save it and ship it out. We wouldn't get paid for it, but then we wouldn't have to landfill it. But we just don't have the space because we'll have to store it for a year or more before we get a truckload of memory foam. Those are the main things. Also, if a mattress is extremely soiled, meaning it laid in the mud and the mud is caked on it. If it is saturated wet, which means it's laid out in the rain for more than just one rain, but for many rains, or it's laid in melting snow. If it's infested with bed bugs, or if it's crushed, that means mangled. We can't effectively separate those. Those end up being landfilled. So far, those are less than 1% of mattresses. And the number one thing is probably crushed. Out of 60,000 mattresses, we've had 4 verifications of bed bugs. People always talk about bed bugs, but in our market area, it's not been a bad issue. In some markets, it can be a very significant issue.
Brian, could you talk a little bit more about your partnership or efforts with the City of La Crosse? I know they have some efforts in regards to large article recycling. You've mentioned that, but can you kind of talk how that was founded and what that looks like currently?
Sure. One of the things that's important with a lot of recycling, but in mattress recycling in particular, it's large volume, low profit margin. So to make things work, it really helps to have a public-private partnership. Public because oftentimes they have the method or contacts or systems in place to accumulate large volumes of materials such as mattresses. If we went on our own and just opened up a warehouse and hoped the mattresses would show up, we'd likely go out of business. So we have to partner with a county, a city, or both. And in our case, many counties and cities to get the volume. In addition to that, since it's very low margin, it's really hard to make it work. So we have to find cost-effective places, buildings to make it work. In one of the places we're working with now, they're willing to give us buffer area in the landfill. It's not local. And basically they'll rent that for $1. So all of a sudden our land costs go way down. There was another place that had a building that wasn't being used, that was owned by a unit of government. They were going to give us the building for $1. That makes those costs go way down. That makes recycling much more affordable. So that partnership, that public-private partnership, really to be effective, I think is very key.
Brian, along those lines, so your mattresses are coming from lots of different, it sounds like lots of different organizations, particularly like different governmental units. I mean, is this like, is this, are they private, like mattresses coming from landfills, or are they like colleges and dorms and things like that that are
Oh, I love your question, because I'm going to make it a 2-part question. We get mattresses from towns, villages, cities, and counties. Our biggest users are landfills, and the landfills we're using now are all public landfills owned by county government. We get mattresses from IKEA outside of Milwaukee. That's one way. And another one is northwest of the cities. There's a private mattress company that gives us their mattresses as well. So we have to northwest over 200 miles away, and then southeast to Milwaukee over 200 miles away. What's really interesting is we do not get mattresses from the University of Wisconsin. I'll say that again. We do not get mattresses from the University of Wisconsin. They have a contract. The system, the whole system. We do not get mattresses from the system. In their contract, not the most recent one, but before the one that they just let, it required mattresses to be recycled. I contacted the company that said they recycled the mattresses, and right up they said, we don't recycle the mattresses. And it's like, you don't, what do you do with them? Well, we send some to other countries that could use mattresses. Mattresses are very bulky, very expensive to ship. That seems to be a little problematic to me. But they also send them out of state to be refurbished, and that's have a new ticking sold on them, sewn on them, and then resold. Now, that's not legal in Wisconsin, but it's legal in some other states. And so Wisconsin taxpayers are paying for University of Wisconsin mattresses to be shipped out of state to be refurbished and sold in a way that's not legal in the state of Wisconsin. I contacted one of our state legislators about that, and I used the word recycling in there. And when they looked at the contract, it said, I was told, it didn't define recycling. So if someone wants to repurpose a used mattress or reuse it, even though it's not legal in Wisconsin, that could be viewed as recycling since it's not defined. And so that's what's happening with our mattresses. We're not getting any mattresses from the University of Wisconsin system. We are getting them from Viterbo. And there's some private colleges to look at, but not the University of Wisconsin system, which you can tell kind of bugs me. But and I've got certified letters back and forth about this because I knew this could be an issue.
Ryan, a random question that we had was roughly how many mattresses have you received and recycled pieces out of since inception?
About 60,000.
And I know that, Brian, we've worked in the past with trying to figure out ways to use some of the materials from the mattresses, especially the felt and whatnot. We have quite a few students with us today. What are there ways for them to get involved, or if they have ideas about how some of these products could be used? Can they get in touch with you, or how do you tend to work with students?
Sure, they can get a hold of me on the website, but let me say this. We have a plethora of ideas. Ideas so far seem to be fairly easy to come by with things to do. The hard part is executing on those, actually making the material or doing something with the material and then getting it marketed and sold. So if these are students that really want to be on the business side versus the idea side, ideas are great, but they're easy. It's hard to execute to really get those things happening and sold.
And Brian,
And if anybody wants to reach out, they can reach out they can find my contact information on the website.
and we'll make sure that's up on the blog as well. So
Sure, and we're on LinkedIn and Facebook as well.
perfect. So one final question here, Brian, and that is, what is it about mattresses that you want people to know that they might not?
Oh. So many people, I just talked to a landfill manager yesterday. This shocks me. He didn't know mattresses were recyclable. It's like, my goodness, you're in the industry and you don't know. I couldn't believe that. So one of the things, mattresses are recyclable, but that doesn't mean they are recycled. So you have to ask some tough questions when you're getting rid of a mattress. Is it really going to be recycled? Last week, a county board member from Outagamie County, which is Appleton, called me up, and she has a cabin in Vilas County, and she was going to recycle a mattress. She called someone and they said they'd recycle it. And she said, what does that mean? And they admitted they didn't actually recycle it. So she got on the internet, started Googling, and got a hold of me. And she's on a mini mission. And she's on the county board in Outagamie County to make sure that issue gets to the forefront in that county. And I've talked to the folks in Outagamie County before, but it's not only are mattresses recyclable, but you have to step up to make sure they get recycled. And that's a big takeaway, I think.
Great. Brian and Brandon, thank you so much for taking time with us today and taking around Seven Rivers Recycling. And I should also thank Mattress Man as well with that surprise appearance. I think that's a first for Sustainability Institute to have a mascot show up. So that was awesome. So again, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and sharing that with us. For everyone else on the line, we have a quick poll that we'd like you to take. It should pop up on your screen momentarily. Just to give us a little bit of feedback about how things went. This is, again, an anonymous poll, so feel free to take about 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds to answer. And as you finish up that, take another 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Great, thank you so much for taking that poll, and thank you for attending, and all of our participants, thanks for attending. Again, if you feel like this type of programming is valuable to you and to our region, please do consider becoming a member of Sustainability Institute. Do want to share with you what's coming up for us. On November 10th, we are going to be hosting our annual Inspiring Sustainability Awards. So we've had a number of people who have been, a number of people and organizations who have been nominated to win one of these Inspiring Sustainability Awards. We will announce this year's winners November 10th at 3 p.m. It is another free event, so feel free to register for that at sustaininstitute.com. You can see the website there on your screen. This is our 10th year of doing these awards, so we're really excited to announce our upcoming winners. Individuals who register for the event and are there in attendance will be registered to win a $100 Downtown Main Street gift card. You do have to be present to win. So please do consider joining us for that event. It's always a lot of fun, the Inspiring Sustainability Awards. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope this was worthwhile to you. You'll be able to find the video playback for this for our Seven Rivers Recycling Tour, along with any of our past tours and chats at our Sustainability Spotlight blog. So please head to sustaininstitute.com/spotlight for that. Thanks once again to the folks at Seven Rivers Recycling for letting us in and checking out their place. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your week and have a great day.